Adapted from archaic translation by H. T. Francis and R. A. Neal. Jataka number 379. Neru Jataka. Ravens and crows, etc. The master told this tale in Jetavana monastery concerning a certain brother. The story is that he got the forms of meditation from the master and then went to a frontier village. There the people, pleased with his manner, fed him, built high honor. But they gave him up for the teachers of the permanence of matter, afterwards forsaking those for the sect who deny immortality, and those again for the sect of naked ascetics. For teachers of all these sects came among them in turn. So he was unhappy among those people who knew not good and evil. And after the rains and the pavarana he went back to the master, and at his request told him where he had stayed during the rains and that he had been unhappy among people who knew not good and evil. The master said, "Sages of old, even when born as beasts, stayed not a day among those who knew not good and evil. Why have you done so?" And so he told the tale. Once upon a time when Brahmadatta was king in Benares, the bodhisattva was born as a golden goose. Along with his younger brother he lived on the hill Sitakuta and fed on wild paddy in the Himalaya. One day in their flight back to Sitakuta, they saw the golden mountain Neru and settled on its summit. Around the mountain dwell birds and beasts of various kinds for feeding ground. From the time of their coming to the mountain onwards they became golden of color from its luster. The bodhisattva's brother saw this, but being ignorant of the cause said, "Now what is the cause here?" And so talking to his brother he spoke 2 stanzas. Ravens and crows, and we the best of birds. When on this mountain, all appear the same. Mean jackals rival tigers and their lords. The lions. What can be the mountain's name? The bodhisattva hearing this spoke the 3rd stanza. Noblest of mountains, Neru is it name. All animals are here made fair to sight. The younger one hearing this spoke the remaining 3 stanzas. Wherever the good find honor small or none, or less than others, live not, but go away. Dull and clever, brave and coward, all are honored equally. Undiscriminating mountain, good men will not stay on you. Best, indifferent and meanest Neru does not separate. Undiscriminating Neru, we alas, must leave you straight. With this they both flew up and went to Sitakuta. After the lesson, the master proclaimed the truths and identified the birth. At the close of the truths, that brother was established in the fruition of the first path. At that time the younger goose was Ananda, the elder monk was myself. Source. Adapted from archaic translation by H. T. Francis and R. A. Neal. Jataka number 380. Asanka Jataka. In Heavenly Garden, etc. The master told this tale while living at Jetavana monastery, concerning the temptation of a brother by his former wife. The occasion will appear in the Indriya birth. The master found that the brother was backsliding owing to thoughts of his wife, so he said, "Sir, this woman does you harm. Formerly also for her sake you sacrificed an army of the 4 divisions and lived in the Himalaya 3 years in much misery." So he told an old tale. Once upon a time when Brahmadatta was king in Benares, the bodhisattva was born in a Brahmin family at a village of that country. When he grew up, he learned the arts at Taxila, became an ascetic and reaching the faculties and attainments lived on roots and fruits in the Himalaya. At that time a being of perfect merit fell from the heaven of the 33 and was conceived as a girl inside a lotus in a pool. And when the other lotuses grew old and fell, that one grew great and stood. The ascetic coming to bathe saw it and thought, the other lotus is full, but this one is grown great and stands. Why is this? So he put on his bathing dress and crossed to it, then opening the lotus he saw the girl. Feeling towards her as to a daughter, he took her to his hut and tended her. When she came to 16 years, she was beautiful, and in her beauty excelled the color of man, but attained not the color of gods. Sakka came to wait on the bodhisattva. He saw the girl, asked and was told the way in which she was found, and then asked, what should she receive? A living place and supply of clothing, ornament and food, O sir. He answered, very well, Lord, and created a crystal palace for her living, made for her a bed, clothing and ornament, food and drink divine. The palace descended and rested on the ground when she was going up. When she had gone up, it ascended and stayed in the air. She did various services to the bodhisattva as she lived in the palace. A forester saw this and asked, what is this person to you, Lord? My daughter. So he went to Benares and told the king, O king, I have seen in the Himalaya a certain ascetic's daughter of such beauty. The king was caught by hearing this. And making the forester his guide, he went with an army of the 4 divisions to that place. And pitching a camp, he took the forester and his group of attendants of ministers and entered the hermitage. He saluted the bodhisattva and said, Lord, women are a stain to the religious life. I will tend your daughter. Now the bodhisattva had given the girl the name Asanka because she was brought to him by his crossing the water owing to his doubt, what is in this lotus? He did not say to the king directly, take her and go, but said, if you know this girl's name, O great king, take her and go. Lord, if you tell it, I shall know. I shall not tell it, but when you know it, take her and depart. The king agreed, and from then on considered along with his ministers, what may be her name. He put forward all names hard to guess and talked with the bodhisattva, saying, such and such will be her name. But the bodhisattva said no and refused him. So a year passed while the king was considering. Lions and other beasts seized his elephants and horses and men. There was danger from snakes, danger from flies, and many died worn out with cold. The king said to the bodhisattva, what need have I of her? And took his way. The girl Asanka stood at an open crystal window. The king seeing her said, we cannot find your name. Live here in the Himalaya, we will depart. Great king, if you go you will never find a wife like me. In the heaven of the 33, in the Sitalata garden, there is a creeper named Asavati. In its fruit a divine drink is born, and they who drink of it once are intoxicated for 4 months and lie on a divine couch. It bears fruit once in 1,000 years, and the sons of the gods, though given to strong drink, bear with their thirst for that divine drink, saying, we shall reap fruit from this, and come constantly throughout the 1,000 years to watch the plant, saying, is it well? But you grow discontented in 1 year. He who wins the fruit of his hope is happy. Be not discontented yet. And so she spoke 3 stanzas. In heavenly garden grows Asavati. Once in 1,000 years, no more, the tree bears fruit. For it the gods wait patiently. Hope on, O king, the fruit of hope is sweet. A bird hoped on and never owned defeat. His wish, though far away, he won complete. Hope on, O king. The fruit of hope is sweet. The king was caught by her words. He gathered his ministers again and guessed at the name, making 10 guesses each time till another year was past. But her name was not among the 10, and so the bodhisattva refused him. Again the king said, What need have I of her? And took his way. She showed herself at the window. And the king said, You stay, we will depart. Why depart, great king? I cannot find your name. Great king, why can you not find it? Hope is not without success. A crane staying on a hilltop won his wish. Why can you not win it? Endure, great king. A crane had its feeding ground in a lotus pool, but flying up lit on a hilltop. He stayed there that day and next day thought, I am happily settled on this hilltop. If without going down I stay here finding food and drinking water and so dwell this day, oh it would be delightful. That very day Saka, king of heaven, had crushed the Asuras and being now lord in the heaven of the 33 was thinking, my wishes have come to the pitch of fulfillment, is there anyone in the forest whose wishes are unfulfilled? So considering, he saw that crane and thought, I will bring this bird's wishes to the pitch of fulfillment. Not far from the crane's place of perch there is a stream, and Saka sent the stream in full flood to the hilltop. So the crane without moving ate fish and drank water and lived there that day. Then the water fell and went away. So, great king, the crane won fruition of that hope of his, and why will you not win it? Hope on, she said, with the rest of the verse. The king, hearing her tale, was caught by her beauty and attracted by her words. He could not go away, but gathering his ministers, and getting 100 names spent another year in guessing with these 100 names. At the end of 3 years he came to the bodhisattva and asked, Will that name be among the 100, Lord? You do not know it, great king. He saluted the bodhisattva, and saying, We will go now, he took his way. The girl Asanka again stood by a crystal window. The king saw her and said, You stay, we will depart. Why, great king? You satisfy me with words, but not with love. Caught by your sweet words I have spent here 3 years, now I will depart. And he uttered these stanzas. You please me but with words and not in deed. The scentless flower, though fair, is but a weed. Promised fair without performance on his friends one throws away. Never giving, ever accumulating. Such is friendship's sure decay. Men should speak when they will act, not promise what they cannot do. If they talk without performing, wise men see them through and through. My troops are wasted, all my stores are spent. I doubt my life is spoilt. It is time I went. The girl Asanka hearing the king's words said, Great king, you know my name, you have just said it. Tell my father my name, take me and go. So talking with the king, she said. Prince, you have said the word that is my name. Come, king. My father will allow the claim. The king went to the bodhisattva, saluted and said, Lord, your daughter is named Asanka. From the time you know her name, take her and go, great king. He saluted the bodhisattva, and coming to the crystal palace he said, Lady, your father has given you to me, come now. Come, great king, I will get my father's leave, she said, and coming down from the palace she saluted the bodhisattva, got his consent and came to the king. The king took her to Benares and lived happily with her, increased with sons and daughters. The bodhisattva continued in unbroken meditation and was born in the Brahma world. After the lesson, the master explained the truths and identified the birth. After the truths, the brother was established in the fruition of the first path. Asanka was the former wife, the king was the discontented brother, the ascetic was myself. Source. Adapted from archaic translation by H. T. Francis and R. A. Neal. Jataka number 381. Middlelopa Jataka. Your ways, my son, etc. The master told this tale in Jetavana monastery, of an unruly brother. The master asked the brother, "Are you really unruly?" He said, "Yes, Lord." And the master saying, "You are not unruly for the first time. Formerly too through unruliness you did not the asking of the wise and met your death by the Varamba winds," told an old world tale. Once upon a time when Brahmadatta was king in Benares, the bodhisattva was born as a vulture by name Aparanagija, and lived among a group of attendants of vultures in Gijapabhata. His son, Middlelopa by name, was exceedingly strong and mighty. He flew high above the reach of the other vultures. They told their king that his son flew very far. He called Middlelopa, and saying, "Son, they say you fly too high. If you do, you will bring death on yourself," spoke 3 stanzas. Your ways, my son, to me unsafe appear. You soar too high, above our proper sphere. When earth is but a square field to your sight. Turn back, my son, and dare no higher flight. Other birds on soaring restrain high flight ever now have tried. Struck by furious wind and tempest they have perished in their pride. Middlelopa through disobedience did not do his father's asking. But rising and rising he passed the limit his father told him, faced even the black winds when he met them, and flew upwards till he met the Varamba winds in the face. They struck him, and at their mere stroke he fell into pieces and disappeared in the air. His aged father's wise commands refused. Beyond the black, Varamba winds he gained. His wife, his children, all his household heard. All came to ruin through that disobedient bird. So they who regard not what their elders say, like this proud vulture beyond bounds astray, meet ruin, when right rules they disobey. After the lesson, the master identified the birth. At that time Middlelopa was the unruly brother, Aparana was myself.